Hello and welcome to this episode of Tech This Week. The second COVID 19 wave has hit back and the numbers have been skyrocketing. That said, the week saw consolidation for startups, small wins for the IT sector, and e commerce realigning their businesses for curfews and restrictions. The big story this week, though, is the online travel platform ClearTrip's acquisition by Flipkart in what is largely being called a distress sale. ClearTrip thus far has raised $70 million from multiple investors, including Concur Technologies, DAG Ventures, and others. Its earlier investors included Kleiner Perkins and DFJ. More on that story later in our second segment. But first up, the headlines. This week, Tech Circle did an interesting story on gender bias in India's venture capital market. We parsed data from the top VC firms to discover that the number of women led businesses backed by them, as well as the number of women in these VC firms, are outnumbered by startup unicorns in India. Tech Circle's Rashmi Ramesh joins us to talk more about this story. Welcome to Tech This Week, Rashmi. Do tell us more about all this data excavation you've been doing over the past couple of weeks for this story.
Hi, Payal. So thanks for having me on Tech This Week. So, gender equality isn't new. Ask any woman and she'll tell you how she's faced bias solely because of her gender. So we wanted to quantify this bias. We looked through nearly 1,000 portfolio companies of top VCs that invest in India to check how many had all women founding teams, how many had women founders, and how many of those women founders were CEOs as well. And honestly, I would have loved to be wrong, but as expected, only some 20% of the firms have women as founders or CEOs. And these are not even all women founded teams. You know how there were so many accounts of women in the VC industry about how they were ignored while raising funds for their own companies, how they've been mansplained in boardrooms. Even in our story, we talk about how a pregnant founder's colleague was told that they should drop her if they wanted better luck at raising money. I mean, these stories are appalling and they're just very common, you know.
Yeah, that's
Um,
shocking. Yeah.
it is. And at least the good thing is that people are talking about the existence of bias more openly now and calling out bias and mentoring women for leadership positions. All of this will definitely help. And the easiest of all is to just hire more women at all levels. And women in leadership positions tend to hire more women for their companies as well. And several studies have shown that. At the very least, it'll enable some sort of level playing ground for women in the industry.
Thank you so much, Rashmi, for talking about the story there. And moving on to the other headlines of the week. IT major Infosys and Wipro announced their Q4 results along with TCS. Hiring has gone up, and the IT services majors have said that attrition is likely to increase with a glut of IT jobs. Infosys also announced the buyback of shares aggregating up to rupees 9,200 crore during its quarterly results. It also clocked $2.1 billion in total contract value for the quarter ended March 31st. Wipro, on the other hand, saw its shares rise 10% a day after reporting the best quarter results in a decade. On the investment side, Amazon is conducting its flagship conference, Sambhav, this week, and it has announced a $250 million fund dubbed Amazon Sambhav Venture Fund to support startups which will digitize small and medium businesses, as well as look at companies in the healthcare and agri-tech space. It also announced its first investment in trade receivables discounting system company M1 Exchange. To register their protest, on the other hand, against Amazon's alleged anti competitive practices, trader bodies have also held a parody event parallelly called Asambhav or Impossible in Hindi. Talking of digital businesses now, telco player Airtel has rejected its corporate structure to become a digital first company and take on close rival, which is Reliance backed Geo. The company announced this week that Airtel Digital Limited will be folded under the listed entity of Bharti Airtel. The Airtel Digital subsidiary will house all of its digital assets, including music streaming platform Wink, Airtel Thanks, payments platform Mitra, Airtel Ads, Airtel IQ, Airtel Secure, and Airtel Cloud. The telco business and direct-to-home services business will be housed under other subsidiaries, namely Airtel Limited and Bharti Telemedia, with the possibility of merger of the DTH business with the other one following clarification from the government. The infrastructure business of the company will continue to operate separately, as will the payments bank. Also, earlier this week, Microsoft announced the acquisition of Massachusetts headquartered AI solutions provider Nuance in a $19.7 billion all cash deal. This will double Microsoft's addressable market in healthcare provider services, said the company. The MS Cloud for Healthcare was launched in 2020, and Nuance will bring its suite of products built on Azure post the acquisition. Also, payments unicorn Pine Labs announced the acquisition of Malaysian fintech company Fave for $45 billion to deepen its Southeast Asia play. Pine Labs had previously invested in Fave last year an undisclosed amount to grow its merchant base in Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, where Fave is popular. With the acquisition, Fave will launch its customer-facing QR-based payment app for Indian users. The app also provides users with cashbacks and loyalty rewards for transacting on it. Talking money, Byju's added another small change of $455 million for its ongoing $1 billion growth round from a group of investors, including Baron Funds, B Capital, and Exponent Holdings, among other investors. Also, the surge in COVID cases has led to state-specific curfews, as we all know. In Maharashtra, e-commerce players once again are restricted to delivering essential deliveries only, diminishing their businesses in the state down to 5 to 7% of what they usually do. The state accounts for nearly 10% of the $1.5 billion GMV, which horizontal players like a Flipkart or an Amazon do every month across the country. And now, for the big story of the week. Flipkart's acquisition of Cleartrip this week clearly plays into its super app strategy, which is meant to power all e-commerce transactions on a single platform. Globally, Grab, which is set to go public in the US after a $40 billion SPAC deal, is one such example where you can hail a ride, order food, pay for stuff, and complete all e-commerce transactions. China's Alibaba and Tencent-backed WeChat are older rivals in the space. Whereas in India, Amazon and Paytm too have been working on a similar strategy, though the big ticket acquisitions were not part of the strategy for either of these companies. When we cut to Flipkart, they acquired PhonePe for $10 million to power their payments, Myntra to build their fashion vertical, which was also their most expensive purchase to date with $330 million. They're also partnered with Ixigo to power flight ticketing on the app, but with the acquisition of Cleartrip, all of this is set to change. Joining us today to discuss about where the OTA sector stands and what happens to it in view of the pandemic, we have Prashant Pitti of Ease My Trip. Welcome to Tech This Week, Prashant. So thank you so much, Prashant, for agreeing to join us on this show. This was quite a big news. Beginning with it, Ease My Trip has been around for a while now. So could you tell me a little bit more about, how you came about setting up an OTA play in a market when it had a bunch of players already when you started around in 2008? Yeah.
Correct. The company began in the year 2008. From 2008 till 2011, we were primarily serving travel agents. Only in year 2011, we actually began our B2C portal where anybody could use it to book for their travel needs. Now, the biggest differentiator at that time we thought we would want to keep is we wanted to give customers an option to not to pay convenience fees. Everybody else was charging convenience fees at that time. They still are. And convenience fees is the portion which props up at the last page of the booking. Ease My Trip is listed entity now. So to give you the basic information of the company is bootstrapped, the company is debt free, and the company has always been profitable in the last 13 years of our operation.
Is there going to be a second round of consolidation in this space? We saw some happening when Make My Trip had acquired iBibo, got merged with iBibo and a couple of others. Right. So, yeah.
We are in business for two reasons. One, to serve our customers and add value in their lives. And two, to remain profitable so that we can continuously do that for the longer period of time. And that is why profitability is important, that you can sustain that business and you can continue doing it over a long period of time. Now, in the last 2 decades or so, the internet startups have somehow forgotten the second tenet, which is to remain profitable. I mean, VC money is abundantly available and it is to be used for a correct purpose. But I believe that most of the internet startups have abused the VC money to grow left and right without worrying about unit economics. And that is, and I with this clear trip, distress sale, I really hope the entire industry wakes up and starts, realizing that no matter how big you become, you will always be vulnerable if the basics of the business are not correct.
As an industry observer, do you think that this is something which was bound to happen given Flipkart's ambitions to become a super app? So, how important is it to have an OTA on your platform which is dedicated to serving the entire ticket specific ticketing need?
They have been there for last 2 or 3 years. As an industry, we did not see them making a huge dent, especially because people have verticalized approach. You go to a place for one particular need. For Flipkart, you go for your e-commerce needs. You go to companies like ours for your travel needs, and also the servicing which is required when you order something online as a product versus when you buy your train ticket, bus ticket, air tickets is very, very different. In our case, our turnaround time, TAT, which we say, has to be less than 10 minutes. While in e-commerce companies, their turnaround time need not be as quick as the way we have to resolve query quickly. So the entire nature of business is absolutely different. The way you handle customer, the urgency at which you handle, that particular customer's care is also very different. So far we have not seen any big super app which has made a huge dent in travel space, but the times will tell for the future.
Okay. Thank you, Prashant. With that, it is a wrap for this episode. Please stay safe. Thank you for watching.